Make sure I'm on the same page.
So yeah, it's history now, that, and the pain is all the grieving that I went through. It's, but what all the grieving did to me is teach me how to appreciate things in life,
Yeah.
And I think, like, if people appreciated just being alive a little bit more, they'd start feeling a bit more happier.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Life's not all about money.
No, it's about, like you said, it's appreciation of life. And
I think, like, what it is, alright, because when you do find a peace of mind, alright, you can enjoy the day, alright, the next day, when you wake up, as long as you haven't got toothache or anything, but you generally gonna feel a bit even happier than the day before in a funny way, because you're at peace of mind, you're thinking better.
Yeah.
You're thinking straight.
Mind's clearer.
You live in the moment.
Yeah.
You're not worried about the past anymore.
Yeah, your mind's not preoccupied.
The past is just sort of like a photograph. It's like looking at a photograph. That's what it is to me anyway. You can't change it. And you got to forgive it in a kind of way as well. Because I found my ex-wife, meeting somebody else.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to forgive her.
Yeah.
But I've forgiven her now. And actually I'm pleased because, she's freed me.
Yeah.
So, like I say, I found peace of mind, I suppose, in the last few years, to be honest with you. It's been quite a headache, my life, in a funny way, just to feel, if my wife didn't meet anyone, I would have been more settled, do you know what I mean, and got my, carried on.
Your history would be completely different. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't have met you for one. I wouldn't have been doing this show. Do you know what I mean?
All this wouldn't be. We won't be where we are today.
Well, it's funny how one, like her, you say your partner wants somebody else, it completely alters life.
Yeah, she wants separation, and it's
whatever. It completely alters everything in a funny way. And you meet new people.
Yeah.
And you have had a few girlfriends since or whatever.
Yeah, your life changes.
Yeah.
It opens up. That one decision has a domino effect.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Sometimes one decision.
And I personally, I don't think I've done anything wrong. I did try my best, but I wasn't perfect.
Of course.
I mean, I look back now and I think I could have done a lot better. But I can't. I couldn't do better if I didn't know. I do know now. You learn in life, and that's that. And the past is the past.
Yeah. No point dwelling on it too much.
No, not at all.
Well, it's nice to reflect and stuff on the good moments, the good stuff, all the the nice moments you've had in the past, whether it be sometimes you're just sitting down reminiscing, about good moments you had, fun times you might have had with your kids or your family, your friends or loved ones, or well, it's not good to it's not good to revisit the past too much, like you said, focus on the present moment, because like I said, the present moment pretty much is the future, you are, and like you said, don't be too anxious or worried about the future either, because you can't worry about shit that you can't control, just deal with whatever it is, that comes up at the time, just deal with it there and then,
Well, you can't enjoy the moment if you're worried about the past, do you know what I mean?
No, exactly.
Or anxious about the future or whatever, do you know what I mean? You just got to relax and enjoy the moment,
Yeah.
And that's that, I think.
Yeah.
And then I think you can have a better tomorrow in a funny way, like if you're relaxing and you're happy. And you can control yourself better, I feel. You control your future in a funny way, you can control your future.
Oh, you can. That's why, like, setting goals and all that kind of thing is so important, because you can work towards. Not saying that everything is always going to go completely according to plan, because that's, as we all know, like, that's not kind of how kind of life kind of works. But you can set goals or decide to do like if you said tomorrow, mate, let's go to Jamaica. Just being like really random and hypothetical. If we had the money, we say, okay, let's get on a plane and go to Jamaica tomorrow.
Well, enjoy that.
We could do that.
Yeah.
If you see what I mean, like we could do that shit. If you see what I mean, like because like we are creating our future. If you see what I mean,
right,
we are creating our reality, our experiences. If you see what I mean, we make our decisions of what creating our future. Our thoughts, our decisions, everything that we do is what is shaping our future and who we become also as people. Going forward. So yeah.
Yeah, you can kind of plan your memories.
So you can say, oh mate, let's go to Czechoslovakia tomorrow.
Yeah, you can kind of plan your memories, can't you, in a funny way?
Yeah.
In this world,
Yeah.
Well, you can plan a wedding, or a party.
Yeah.
If you want to,
Where you could say, if you said tomorrow, mate, let's go skydiving. Let's go jump out a plane. Go skydiving. We're one of these professionals. Get one of these professionals to take us up and you go skydiving.
I'd say no.
But I'm not saying. I know. Me too. I wouldn't want to do that.
I can imagine doing it actually.
It's not. It's not something that I'd want to do either. To be honest with you, I don't believe that.
It's not that frightened me.
Yeah, I don't believe.
I would do it, I suppose, if someone paid me.
Yeah, I just don't believe that putting my life at risk for no reason.
Yeah.
I already think life is dangerous enough.
It is really. It's
without doing something that could potentially has a small percentage chance of going wrong, and me ending up going splat. If you see what I mean.
Right,
so, I understand why people do it. But I'm just being hypothetical. It's just like we shape our futures. If we decided tomorrow we want to go and do paintballing. So, mate, have you ever done paintballing, mate? Let's go and do paintballing. Like, paintball wars and shit, where they get all dressed up in the gear and have paintball guns, and they all have to run around the obstacle course and shooting at each other. And just being hypothetical. Not saying it's our cup of tea, but I'm just saying we are creating our futures and our memories and our experience.
That's right.
And it all gets logged in our database, our memories, our random access memory, the RAM in our brain, if you see what I mean, So yeah.
It's like like if I went for a walk, I could either go left through the high street, tomorrow morning this is through the busy street and look at all the people, and go right towards the duck pond.
Yeah.
And sit with the ducks all day.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And they're two totally different memories in a way, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's funny, even sometimes where you choose to go, you can bump into someone, and meet a new friend, and that can change your life. Do you know what I mean? It's quite interesting life, isn't it? But you kind of control it.
You do.
Every second.
To a large degree, you have to. It's like okay, if me and you decided, not saying we would ever do this, because I don't believe we're not going to do anything to put ourselves in any trouble or anything like that. But I'm just I'm just being hypothetical, just for example purposes. If me and you right now decided to go and commit a crime, now I'm just being hypothetical. We decided to go and commit a crime. That decision. If we did do something.
Shall we?
No, we're not going to. Okay, let's be hypothetical and say we robbed the bank. We know what could potentially come with that. The repercussions, ramifications, what comes with that.
We'd get caught.
So that if we get caught.
Well, we've got to make sure we don't get caught.
But that's what I'm saying. So the decisions that, if you see what I mean, that one decision in life, that's why you've got to be careful about when it comes to making decisions like we were talking about before. That one decision in life, making a bad choice, bad decision, can end up with catastrophic.
Ask me, shall we rob a bank?
No, we're not ever going to do anything,
No, I'm not I wouldn't do it.
No, same.
If you did ask me, I'd say no.
I say no. But yeah, like it's like if you made a decision to do something like that, you already know like what comes along with that. Like if you end up getting caught, then you're going to end up doing maybe 20 years in prison. If you see what I mean. And through that one decision costs you 20 years of your freedom. Going back to time. Time is of the essence. Being in prison is a waste of time.
Well, you wouldn't want to spend your life in prison, would you?
Well, you ask anyone, they say when you go to prison, it's almost like you stop. The year that you go to prison is like you stop until you come back out again. If you see what I mean. It's almost like your life is on pause.
Yeah.
During that period, and when you come back out, it's like...
I went to prison for a day, right, and it was like being locked up from everything I enjoyed.
Yeah.
You know, because I enjoyed doing lots of things.
Took away all your freedoms.
Yeah, that's right. You know, and all I had was a toilet and a sink in the corner there, and there was a camera looking up on the high ceiling there at me.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I thought I was sitting on the toilet there, and this camera was looking at me. You know, I thought I was covering myself with a blanket like this, you know, do you know what I mean? But anyway, you know, but that's just one day in prison, you know, and I was a bit angry that I was in there for the reason I was, whatever, yeah, you know, and you know, I'd hate it if I got like life in prison. Do you know what I mean? Can you imagine, like you're born in this world, right, and then you spend most of it in prison.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like that.
That's what I mean. Like that. That's what I'm saying. People have to, and not only that, but don't get me wrong. There are some people who are imprisoned innocently. We know that. You know, we know this is true. You know, but that's what I'm saying. You've got to be careful. You know, time is limited. You know, you've got to be careful with the decisions that you make. You know, I think that's very important. I think that was a kind of, you know, I'm glad we talked about this in the last segment of this week's episode, because I think it's important. You know, people have to remember that every decision they make, you know, impacts everything. You know, it's just, you've got to try to make the right choices and right decisions in life. You know, and
well, it changes your life, your history, your
everything,
your future,
everything. You know, can impact a lot of people. Time. Can impact a lot of people around you, especially if you've got a family and loved ones and people that care about you and love you and stuff. Like, you know, you have to, yeah, just try and make the right decisions in life. You know, try to, you know, do the best you can. You know, because time is limited. You know, you don't want to spend most of your time incarcerated. You know, your whole life taken away from you. You just spend the rest of your life in a box, 23 hours a day, 1 hour. You know, get 1 hour outside of that box. You know, that's
nasty.
You know, you can imagine doing that for 30 years.
You know,
that's like being in your bathroom. That's like being. It's almost like literally being someone telling you you've got to stay in your bathroom for 25 years. That small little space now that you call that's your bathroom there.
No.
It's like someone telling you you've got to stay in there for 25 years. You can only come out 1 hour a day.
Personally, I think I don't agree with prisoners at all. You know, you know, like people that do wrong, you know, like murder, are not educated.
Yeah.
You know, and prisons, alright, they don't educate people. They don't teach people a lesson. They make people angrier.
Generally.
Well, yeah, and more.
Some people do get rehabilitated, though, mate. Don't get me wrong, because some people, especially if they're younger, in some places they get the chance sometimes to get a degree and diplomas and learn a trade or certain things, depending on where you are in the world, of course, in the prison that you're in.
Two wrongs don't make a right, right?
No.
Two wrongs, so you don't punish a person for doing something wrong, really, right? Because that's two wrongs don't make a wrong in a way. You know, you got to. I know it's hard, alright, yeah. You know, in life, you know, I don't agree with murders at all.
No.
Whatever. You know,
well, the only time, you can't even call it murder because, as I said, the only time, God forbid, any time anything like that, you know, self-defense.
Yeah.
You know, if someone was to protect themselves in self-defense and do something, I could understand. You know, if they were trying to protect themselves and their family, and it was really and truly self-defense, I could understand. But outside of that, no. You know, no. You know.
But like, there's a lot of crazy people in this world, you know, and you can understand why in a funny way, you know.
The world is making people crazy.
Exactly. You know, like electric.
And the world is crazy.
It is. You know, electric going up, alright?
Yeah.
Now, that make people crazy, some people, I'm telling you. You know, might make people murder someone, do you know what I mean, honestly?
Yeah.
Yeah. It does make a knock-on effect.
Well, what happens too is, crime goes up as well, generally speaking. If you just do an analysis, anywhere that there's low poverty and people are struggling, the crime rates tend to be higher.
Oh, of course.
And any place where there's large amounts of poverty-stricken people struggling, people, you know, trying to make it day by day, don't know where their next meal's coming from, or whatever the case may be, you tend to have more crime. And that's what tends to happen. People tend to do more shit
people get unhappy,
shit,
don't they?
exactly, shit that they wouldn't normally do. They would do to try and make ends meet, kind of thing. Not saying that we're not saying it's right or justifying it. We're just saying that is the reality, you know.
Well, I'm hoping the future's going to get better. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Right.
But you know, I think like next year it's going to get worse. Like the price is going to go up even more. Do you know what I mean? And the bread's going to go up. Do you know what I mean? And everyone's going to struggle more and more. You know? Do you know what I mean? It's going to get crazy. You know, ridiculous.
Yeah. But everything's going up, as we know. Food's just all the food products have gone up. Food has gone up significantly. Electric has gone up significantly. House prices and everything else, rent and house prices, mortgages, and everything else.
Well, it's just silly, isn't it?
Everything's gone up, you know. Petrol's gone up. Petrol that people
Why
rely
can't
on.
things start going down in price? You know what I mean? Wouldn't that be good? Like,
Well, it's just like they intentionally just try to make life harder and harder every single year. To see, it's almost like I look at it like it's almost like a bloody social experiment for these people. It seems like, you know, how hard can we possibly make life before, you know, before people actually, before they actually put their foot down and say, oh, you know, we can't, you know, this is enough, kind of thing. You know, how far can we push them? You know, how much will they accept? You know, how much will they, you know, allow us to control their lives and manipulate them and you know, and have them living a certain way, you know.
I don't know how the thing's going to change now the Queen's dead.
Yeah.
You know, like here, whatever. I don't know.
Well, things are going to change, of course, in some way.
I don't think it's going to change me.
No, it won't affect our lives directly.
It could do that. It could do.
Not directly, maybe indirectly. Not directly, won't affect our lives, but indirectly, maybe, yeah. You know. Prince Charles, now he might become king. He might all of a sudden make an announcement about something and change something all of a sudden. You know. Say now that I am king, I declare X, Y, Z. You know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I say it's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy world that we're living in, you know. But like, you know, I think it'll make you go crazy if you think about it too much. You know what I mean? Like, you know, if you watch the news too much and things, you know.
Yeah.
Make you go crazy.
You gotta think for yourself. Having critical thinking and thinking for yourself, forming your own opinions. You know.
Be independent.
Yeah, be a free thinker. You know?
Yeah, be independent.
Don't be manipulated by someone else's disposition. You know. Think for yourself. You know.
So I don't watch the news anymore. I just like making music. And,
yeah.
You know, enjoying my life. Yeah.
Having
Going
fun.
to the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going to the duck pond. You know. Forget about the news.
Making the most of every day.
Forget about about it, I think.
Yeah.
You know there's some wars out there, but that's all you know. That's all you need to know, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I don't think it get much worse, can it? The world, like the virus, shut down, and everything. You know, recession. I mean, we're already in recession.
We are.
Right, and then the shutdown. You know, it's a triple recession now. You know, and then the prices are going to go up. Do you know what I mean? And it's going to get worse and worse, and people can get. It seems like people are going to struggle.
People are getting more and more fed up in the world that we live in. I know we talk about it a lot, but that's just the reality. People are getting more and more fed up, you know. Yeah. We're living in a time and a place right now, you know, where things are, you know, the world is changing significantly.
A lot of people committing suicide, I think, too.
Oh, true.
Taking their own
even
lives.
that guy, even the other day I saw an article, there was this very, very wealthy guy that jumped off one of these large buildings. You know, he used to, you know, obviously he was a CEO of one of these large companies that has just gone bankrupt. That was like $1 billion corporation or something. Exactly. And apparently he got caught up in some like fraud or something like that. I didn't read the whole article, so don't quote me, please. But yeah, he basically jumped off the 18th floor of this building and committed suicide because of.
So it don't even matter if you've got a lot of money sometimes in life, alright?
Yeah.
You know, you don't think that some really rich people, alright, some people want to commit suicide.
Well, for some people that brings them more problems too. For some people with money, because they might have a lot of family and other people around them that are, you know, like looking at them all the time to be the leader, the provider, You know.
Money is trouble in a funny way.
Can be. That's why even me and my wife always agree. Like even if like say not that we don't play the lottery, but let's just say hypothetically we did. If one day we were to play the lottery, just being for an example, and we were to win a large sum of money, or we were to become very successful and get a large sum of money, whatever the case may be, whether it is by lottery or through hard work and our own personal achievements, we would keep it very low key. If you see what I mean, we won't be flashy and and that kind of thing. We won't be telling people how much money we've got and etc. We'll be keeping it. We might have.
But some people win the lottery, right?
Yeah.
And they end up dying.
Go on a spending spree.
Well, they can end up dying.
Because sometimes it makes, if people have bad habits,
well, yeah,
sometimes it can make that person's
That's
habits.
Right, they could die within especially if they drink a lot or whatever, and they won the lottery.
But there was a British guy a few years back as well, he was even in the papers, he won the lottery, he won like X amount of £1 million or something, and within 8 years he'd lost it all, if you see what I mean. And he said he'd had loads of drug and drink parties, what I mean. He went he said he had like an 8-year binge basically where he was partying and drinking and doing drugs for 8 years basically, paying for strippers and prostitutes and cocaine and all that type of shit. Within 8 years he'd lost it all, and before that he was a rubbish man, doing collecting the rubbish, won £8 million or something.
All right.
And then they lost it all and had to go back to his job, after it,
There's all kinds of cases out there.
That's what I'm saying. Like he wasn't even one of these smart people that would invest that money that it could last them the rest of their life. Because if you've got money like that, mate, you've got millions of pounds like that, right, mate? Just by putting that into a certain type of account, you could generate a certain amount of interest off that money every single year. That you would never have to work again ever in your life. And within a few years, that money would have multiplied. If you see what I mean. Your money that you would have got in that account would have multiplied, if you see what I mean, by a million. So by the time, and when you eventually do pass away, you've got loads of assets and money to leave behind. I
know. Like I say, it's all to do with intelligence again, really. Some people don't understand.
Yeah.
Learning about money is another intelligence, isn't it? As well as cooking.
Yeah. Definitely. Lots of different types of intelligence. Yeah. Anyway, mate, is there any final words or anything else you want to?
Is time up?
Well, it's almost time to call it. Call it a night for this week's episode. But you got any final words or any final, any closing statements or anything you want to leave for the people before we call it a night and wrap it up for this week's episode?
I could sort of just say, try to enjoy time.
Yeah. Make the most of every minute you've got.
I wouldn't worry about history too much.
Yeah.
It's not.
Whatever interests you, fine. But generally speaking, don't worry about it. Because there's much more important things in life that you need to be thinking about.
Well,
and focusing on.
I think in history, by looking at it, we can learn from it.
We can.
That's all.
That's all.
That's all.
That's all. That's all. I like that. I like that. I like that. That's it. That's perfect. You summarise it in one. That's it. That's what it is. It's learning from history. That's what it's all about. Yeah.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this week's
episode.
Subject about time. And history.
And history. There might be a part 2 to this, potentially, I think, maybe, because it's one of those things you can kind of talk about all night, kind of, really, with time and history, because it's kind of,
deep subjects.
It's very deep subjects, and they're both very, it's kind of endless, kind of infinite kind of topics, if you see what I mean. But yeah, we hope you guys have enjoyed this week's episode of the Philosophy Podcast.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this week.
Yeah, I did as well, actually, to be very honest.
I thought it was quite funny.
But yeah, make the most of all the time that you have. Focus on what's important in life. Of course, we all have things that we like to do and enjoy.
What is important in life?
Family.
Yeah, but what is really important? I think what really important in life, right?
Yeah.
Is keeping yourself strong.
Yeah.
Mentally and physically. And enjoying the moment.
Yeah.
And focusing on the moment.
Yeah.
And controlling the moment.
Yeah. Enjoying every day of your life.
Yeah.
As much
as learn from the past, learn from history, and that's that.
That's that. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look forward to the future.
That's it. Yeah.
Voila.
Stay positive. Stay blessed. Like we said, make the most of your time. We all live on borrowed time. And the reality is, I know we don't like to think about it or talk about it because it's a bit morbid or whatever, but we all live on borrowed time, you know, and we've all got an expiration date, just like the food in the fridge. So make the most of your time.
Enjoy the journey.
Exactly, life is a journey, not a destination. Make the most of it. Cherish all the good shit and make the most of it. Good night. God bless. One love. Peace out.